Hi everyone, it's Ian here from Studio. I'm so happy to be joined by this man who is we go back a while.
Long time, man. Long time. Almost it's 10 years, I think. If I'm not mistaken.
I think easy 10 years. Yeah. So this is my friend Paddy, who none of you'll know, but Paddy,
Not as famous as Ian. That's for sure.
Yeah. That's true. No, it's not. So first of all, tell us where in the world you are.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, hey everyone, I'm Paddy McGill, and I'm from Vancouver, Canada.
You sound like it.
Yeah. I'm originally from Essex, and I moved to Vancouver, Canada about 5 years ago. It's been amazing, awesome. Man. Yeah, chased some dreams out here in the beautiful forests of BC. So
beautiful BC. Yeah, wow, man. That's awesome. Yeah, so Paddy, tell us a bit as well about what you do.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that'd be really helpful to know. Just kind of paint a picture of how awesome you are.
Of course. I mean, we've only got an hour, right? So my background is I've worked in digital marketing and online education. Online education for the last sort of 4 or 5 years or so. I help businesses launch virtual summits, run live events, run marketing and partnership campaigns to drive new leads and sales to the business. I was at a startup called Thinkific previously, where I headed up their partner and marketing team, and I was also responsible for running all of their online summits and setting up their live events. So a lot of experience running live events, and the world has changed a lot since sort of COVID-19 stuff like that's been happening. And I think I don't want to say it's about time that something like as bad as that has happened, but I do think it's time that a lot of industries now are being sort of dragged into online video, and I really believe it's this is the way that you can communicate with more people, and you can do it in a scalable way now, and using something like StreamYard as we see here. Yep. Super easy to get started. But yeah, I'm happy to talk all about that today.
Yeah, and I'm really thankful, mate. Really thankful because folks, you won't know, but Paddy and I say go back a while, and he's one of a very small number of people that I count as really helpful and influential, and has a big impact on me from a working point of view and from a personal point of view as well. So I'm so grateful that you're here, mate. I know you know some stuff, so that's exciting. We wanted to include this session because you kind of touched on it there a little bit. The whole pandemic thing has massively changed super quickly how people are wanting to run events. So things like, we've been mobbed in the last few weeks with things to do with virtual live open evenings and that kind of stuff, but it goes way beyond that potentially. So, and I know we've done, we'll put a link to it, but we did another session last week which was really time sensitive, with a school that we worked with to help them run an event, and that was a bit of a technical conversation about how that all ran, but really good to hear from the head and the business manager and the people there at the school, and some of the students as well, about how that all ran. But you, having done this kind of stuff so much for way before we were dreaming of it, and or some of us got properly thrown into it, it's going to be really helpful just to chat out what you think are really important things to consider as you're looking to run a live event. Would you take us through some of those things? Is that okay?
Yeah, of course. I'd be happy to. So one of the first things that I want people to say that always think about what's your objective when it comes to going live. Now, going live is great, or hosting a video event, even if it's pre-recorded, is fantastic. But you got to ask yourself, why do we need to do this? That's really, really important. And if you don't really have a clear answer to that, and if you don't have an objective around that why, so if it's to get, let's say, 100 new viewers of this video for your school YouTube channel, or to host a PTA meeting that's going to get 80-90% attendance from all of the parents, if you don't have those objectives in place, or you don't really want to understand what is it I want to deliver in terms of that value to the people that are attending. It's not gonna be a success as perhaps you might think. So one of the things that I want people to start thinking about is like, how can I really make it easy, and how can I make it really, really simple for someone to understand what I'm saying down the camera? Because nerves and not under in that, and doing this for the first time can definitely get a bit tricky, and people can get a bit nervous, and that's okay. Like everyone's done it. I used to hate being on camera when I was at Thinkific the first time. You couldn't believe it, but I didn't. I was so nervous. I was so hard on myself, and I was thinking, this is not for me. I don't know if I want to do this. And then when I finally started to get some like really good feedback from obviously my peers at the company, but importantly the audience and the feedback we were getting, some saying that was a really great event. And once you've done it a few times, like even if you do one thing a certain amount of times over and over again, you do eventually get good at it, or you know your stuff enough to where you're going to be able to talk about it.
The guy that was the head teacher that we worked with just in the last couple of weeks, it was a virtual open evening, so he would obviously be used to standing up in front of 200 or 300 parents on an open evening in the school hall, and he would be absolutely fine doing that. This completely freaked him out. He was so nervous about it, but actually when he did it, and what we tried to do was just make it so he wasn't worried about any of the technical side of it, and he just had to sit in front of a camera, and there was a little bit of interaction and that kind of stuff, so that helps. But he actually found it okay because he just cracked on and did it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think there's definitely instances where so Greg, the founder of Thinkific, he was amazing on camera. He was very, very limited on time. So when he would come and do a talk for us, we would have the brief, everything already like prepared, what he needs to do, what he needs to say. This is what he's talking about. We'd give it to him some time in advance, and all he would need to do, he would just sit at the desk, deliver the talk, and then he'd be gone. back being the CEO.
One take, Greg.
Pretty much. That's pretty much it. So, that comes with that. That comes with practice. That comes with like doing it time and time again. So I do, but definitely, like if someone is used to delivering, to people in person, you feed off that energy. I go to Toastmasters, so for me it was actually the flip reverse. I went from sort of like having this sort of weird way of communicating with people over on camera, get them to say yes, put their hands up, get the energy up, and get them to feel a bit more motivated. And then I was standing in front of maybe like 20 people. I'm like, oh my god, what's going on now? But again, it comes through from practicing. So regardless of what type of event that you're going to host, or what subject, or what the topic is, I really, really encourage you to get your laptop or get your phone, put it on a stand, and just hit record and just deliver your talk, and just do it like maybe 3-4 times back to back. Like if you can, back to back. That unless it's like a 2-hour talk, then obviously break it up. But but try and do it like a few times, and make sure you get that practice in before you go live, because that's going to help. It's going to help you massively. And what you'll realize is that even if you forget something, you can give the big advantage now of like using video or using online is that you can have notes. Like I'm talking now here, I've got sort of a StreamYard here on the right hand side, and I've got some speaking notes on the left. It's a great way to do it, and you can do that with your you can do that with your with your next upcoming talk. But going back to like the type of event then that you want to host is going to be important as well, because because I know we've spoken about that before. You've got obviously a live event that's like this, or you've got pre-recorded, or you've got hybrid events as well, which can be a little bit more work, but they can get really good results from an engagement. And engagement is people commenting, asking questions, giving great feedback before, during, and after the event.
Yeah, no, it's massively helpful, isn't it? I know that some folks probably won't be able to hear me, but we've kind of popped up on chat if some in schools are will have some issues with some certain bits of live streaming stuff. So we'll make a note of it and let people know that the session will be available afterwards if there's any people who've had any struggles looking at this. So yeah, apologies for that, folks. What about if I want to get we had a little chat beforehand about stuff in terms of how you might want to package the thing up, and I know it depends on what we're trying to run. So an event might run live or not live. Tell us a bit about how that might work, Paddy.
Yeah, so there's a few things that you can do. So you've got like a live event. So it's very much like this. You would join a live, like a studio or a broadcast suite where the guest and you, the host, or even on Zoom, you join, you hit live, and then you broadcast it to either like your YouTube channel, your Facebook. Again, and I don't want to delve too much into the technical part of it, because I know like Ian's got a really like great segment that's going to talk about it, but you can use something like StreamYard, and it is as easy as like click. And
dead easy, isn't it? Yeah, super
very, very simple. So you've got like a live event, and then you've got pre-recorded. Pre-recorded are really, really good because that's stuff that you can plan way out in advance. So if you're doing like a quarterly parent-teachers association meeting, or if you're going to do like a general update to the faculty, you can plan this stuff in advance and say, I want to have maybe like the head of admissions, or I want to have maybe the deputy headmaster, headmistress talk about these particular segments, and then we're going to have maybe like year 9, year 10, year 5, whoever it is, come and also do a talk about their maybe like some of the experiences that they've experiences or the things that they've achieved over their time, and then I think that's a really great way to do it, because again, it gives you time to schedule, gives you time to do some editing, or to get things like, I don't use the word tightened up because that's such like a media term, but like I said that. I said myself, someone used to say that to me all the time, and I'm like, well, I don't even know what that means. And now I've just said it. But to make things a bit more streamlined, there we go. Things a bit more
Beautiful, man.
Things a bit make things a bit more streamlined. So and again, it helps you to plan, right? So if you say to run, like, we're going to be doing our winter or Christmas, let's say we're going to do our Christmas play, right? I don't even know if that's still a thing now. Like, I've been
it is.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. You'll find this all out quite soon.
I'm pretty sure. So so like, let's say we're gonna do the Christmas play. You've got all that time ahead to record, to broadcast, to rehearse, and again, like, that's a great way to do it. You could with all of your the play, you could get all of this stuff recorded in advance. You could do some smaller group sessions. I'm not sure what like the school situation is now with COVID, because obviously I'm based in BC and things are okay for the moment. But as things change, as things open up, when more students can come in and do some exercises together, then that's a great opportunity to then do that, to record some of that footage. So
that's really cool.
You've got like pre-recorded, so you got live like this, pre-recorded in advance, just like recording any type of video on your phone or on your laptop, and then you've got these like sort of like hybrid, like panel, sort of a mix of like panel sessions, or and this could be something like more like a Q&A. So you could have groups of you could run something like Zoom, which I recommend because it's easy, but it's not like long term. It's probably not the best experience. But you could use something like Zoom where you could bring in all of the parents, and then you can get them to ask a question in real time. And so if it's a general like PTA meeting, you could run the MVP of it is run a Zoom, invite them all in with a link, and let them ask their questions. Or you can break them up into rooms as well. But again, it's not amazing. Like, it doesn't look professional like this, So
yeah.
It depends.
Trade-offs, isn't there? And it's what you're really comfortable with, I guess, and find your feet with. you can start at some one point and you can add layers into it, of course, can't you, as you get more
Definitely.
confident with it, you know?
Yeah, definitely. And what I find actually what does work well for like if you're going to do like an open house, you could have some pre-recorded sessions from either the kids, or when they've demonstrated some of their work, because maybe you want to give them more time to talk on camera, or it could be the really busy, like could be like the headmaster, headmistress. Maybe they're too busy. They haven't got a lot of time to do something. Say, look, here's record this. Here's what I need you to say, and then get this to me by this time and date. And it is important that you plan with dates, and then you have a good timeline in place. It's like anything really. It's like any online. It's like any in-person event. Like if you're going to organize a PTA meeting, then there are obviously certain steps you need to take. So I would just ask yourself, like, for the interaction elements where you're talking one-on-one or one-to-many, that's where you can start replacing that with like live video, or in this case, like pre-recorded content.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's really cool. And there's a mixture, isn't there? You can mix it up. You can mix stuff up for sure. What about getting people there? So, if you were running something like an open evening, or like you say, some kind of parent-teacher thing, have you any advice on how we can make sure people know about it and we get the most engagement we can with it?
Yes, there's a few things you do. So for something like a parent-teachers evening, it's likely you're going to have access to like their email address or their SMS, some way that you're going to be able to communicate with them. So you drop them out a message in advance, give them some notice, and say, in the next. And you can keep this maybe to the schedule that you usually do your post, or you do or if you're sending out messages generally on emails for the in-person stuff, you can keep you can keep a similar schedule, as long as you're obviously comfortable with your planning. You can send these messages out in advance, and then I would actually recommend, a lot of people get emails, and especially for stuff like webinars now that everyone's getting, I'm not going to say like blasted with webinars, but people getting so used now to being put on video. It's maybe losing its, like, I want to say like it's novelty, but like there's more and more messaging about it these days. So I would make sure that when you are messaging let's say for a PTA meeting, that you use SMS, and that you message the parent closer to the time of it going live. So message them like one day before, 1 hour before, and then the moment that it's live, and say, hey, just in case you forgot, here's a link to go live. Here's a link, click it here. Here's the YouTube link, click this, and then just come and join us. We're going to be going live. We're going live right now, or we're going live in 5 minutes. I know for everyone that probably thinks, wow, that's a lot of emails, but trust me, I think we all have these days probably multiple inboxes. I know I have. I've got 8 or 9 inboxes to manage. Like, I don't know how I do it. That's why I look so good.
That's a lot.
There's a lot, man. And so like, it's one of these things where you've got to, you've got to make sure that this is staying on top. So giving people as many opportunities as possible, and in the day, like, this isn't like selling, like an e-commerce product or a tool or a course or anything like that. This is something to do with your, like, that person's child. So it's like, I would say in a lot of ways you have like the better chance of that email being open. Now, if you're going to host something on the lines of an open evening where you want people to come on by and actually to come have a look at what your school is about, there's actually some really cool things that you could do. So number one, if other schools in your area are hosting, have YouTube channels, for example, you can set adverts at and we're talking like a very low price. Like, we're talking like pennies. I haven't said pennies for a long time. I always say
pennies.
Pennies. I felt great. Pennies to the pound. And you can actually start running some very, like, just very nice open evening ads. Hey, come and join us at, I'm going to use my old school, big up St. Mark's, West Essex Catholic School, if you're watching. Come to that. That's so weird. So say, hey, come and buy to the St Mark's West Essex Catholic School, open evening. Come and find out what we're doing and how we're making your kids, amazing and smart and funny, successful, handsome. Well, I'm not handsome, but the other three are okay. But you know it. So you can run these adverts to and you're using like the other channels, and the people, the subscribers, and the people that are likely to watch that are also going to get your.
It's very cool.
Going to get those ads as well. One other one actually with Facebook, because you can do like geo, you can get very specific on where you want to target. You can again run at a very low cost adverts for people that live around the competitor schools.
Yeah. It's really straightforward that as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's not hard to do in Facebook. No.
Yeah, and you don't need to spend that much money. Like you really don't. Like, don't listen to a lot of the Ferrari gurus of the world. So you need to spend like 20 grand a month minimum to get a return. If you're selling face masks, maybe, but like not. This is different. Like this is like a brand awareness exercise.
Yeah.
You want people to see it and notice it. So when they go on YouTube, they get an advert for your open evening. When they go on Facebook, they get an advert for your open evening.
Yeah.
When they go and when they're interacting with people, they're hearing all about it as well. And I would extend that to collaborating with other entities in your local area and leveraging. I don't want to say like leveraging, not in a bad way, but like leverage like their data, their information in a way that's going to benefit ultimately both you and them. So
huge partnership on it. So my best, it's an offline example, but it's a really funny one. So a sixth form college that we work with, this is a good few years ago, they would say what happens at the end of a college day. That students can opt to choose to have driving lessons with preferred driving lesson partner people, preferred driving instructors. Yeah. They invested in like a really close partnership with one or two, and they put loads of stickery open evening adverts and all sorts of stuff all over the car, and the route that you went on the driving lesson was past all the schools as all the kids were coming out.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Good, isn't it? Yeah.
That's a great idea. That's actually genius.
It's good, isn't it?
And that's that's the sometimes like the simplest ideas are the best, right?
So good. So if we're sharing the message of that, and we're using text messages, and we're using maybe apps or email, whatever kind of, and social and whatever kind of assets we've got access to push the message out, what about when somebody, I don't want to say signs up, but if somebody registers an interest or whatever in coming along to an open evening, what kind of opportunities have we got there to make the most of that?
Oh, huge opportunities. So you could,
I think people miss out on this massively. I think really massively.
And this is, you got to think of it like in the principle of like you've made a sale, like the sale, like that person has submitted they've entered their information in, which is a little bit of work. It's personal. And obviously that's to do with it's the kid as well, so it's important, right? So if they've committed to making that action, it's very likely that they're going to recommend. They're in a better position to recommend that immediately after taking that action. So you could pop up like you could do a competition or a giveaway or something. Say we're going to. I know you can't do this. I do this for the jokes. We're going to give your kid free school lunches for the rest of their school year, right?
That's a good idea.
If you recommend 10 people to come and to join, come and join us as well. Or something along those lines. Like we
can take that principle, yeah.
You can take that principle and you can use that to build a competition around it, or to build some excitement, or you could say for every friend you refer, we're going to donate X amount to this particular charity within the school or this particular activity. So everyone that you refer, so here's a more sensible idea. Everyone that you refer, we're going to basically donate like a £1 to a school activity for the kids at the end of the year, or we're going to take them skiing or something like that.
Yeah,
I never
and
went.
you
I
couldn't
never
do
went.
that kind of thing with partnership with people in the local community, can't you?
100%. Yeah,
You know?
because if you're, obviously, I would definitely recommend making sure, like, if you're going to end up like doing this in partnership and you're going to share emails, then obviously I know certainly with education schools is it's definitely a bit of a landmine field there, but
Yeah, you've got to be careful with that.
gotta be
But you
careful.
can say if it was a local restaurant or something that was willing to give something away,
Oh yeah,
just for being named, then
that
I
works.
mean,
That
that's
works.
not,
Yeah,
you
if
know,
that's like a branding, like, so
yeah,
if you had the logo and said, refer, tell 5 of your friends that that you think would be interested. It's no point like just getting anyone that you know and just filling in their information for the sake of it. That's not the quality lead that you want.
yeah,
You want someone that is like, wow, this is a school that I know. Okay, I'm interested. I've entered in my information, and this is a school that I would definitely tell my friends about,
yeah.
or even go ask them. Another great piece of like social proof, if you can, like, have your reviews of your school if you can, and obviously if they got some good reviews as well, then make sure that at the bottom of your page, or even you can have like social proof on the left hand side saying that someone has signed up recently for this. For this open school, or someone signed up for a prospectus recently, especially if you're charging. Like, if you're in the school game and you're charging for it, then obviously those things are worth.
Do you know as well? We had slightly different, isn't it? It was when we were in it, but when we did that open evening, and we chatted about it in the last session that I did last week. But the power that we've kind of not seen it before in one sense is, if you think about an open evening when you show up at school, when it was online and certain people were when people were commenting, so that deputy head or year 7 head or whoever it was, who's like the pastoral lead, came on and did her bit, a load of people popped up and went, oh, Mrs. whatever she's called is amazing, we love her, she'll look after your child really well, don't worry about it, she's amazing. And you can't even you can't make that's not something you can, but you can take that content then and reuse it as, you can take the quotes and put them on next year's, and you can do all that stuff, so there was some amazing stuff like that, and you would never get that if it was actually live in school.
100%. Well, look, so Ian, like, if we use this example right now, if you've got these comments coming in, you're using StreamYard, you can go to like the comments area and you can actually flash these comments up on the video. So if you are Mr. McGill, who's the head of year 7, and he's doing his delivery, and he sees one of these messages pop in. Yeah, it's amazing. Like, for them, the presenter as well, it gives it's amazing confidence boost.
So that's just popped in now. As a specialist teacher, I'm now delivering training online to various schools at the same time. Whilst this has enabled us to reach more staff, we're getting less engagement, questions and comments. And I think there's specific stuff you can do to encourage that, isn't there? In terms of live engagement. Thoughts on that? So
it's important to give your your guests you need to give them like a jot in the arms. You need to like make sure that you're doing something to break their, because if they're hearing someone talk for 30-40 minutes, I guess like sort of like we have today. I mean, I've tried to make things a little bit humorous. Probably wasn't humorous, but it's about like trying to engage. So it's asking questions. So asking questions directly to the users. So I'm going to find that person's name, Sue Fisher. And I hope I pronounced it right. My apologies if I haven't. So your question is about that. So whilst it's enabled us to reach more staff, we're getting less engagement. So ask yourself, like, am I just talking about my subject on live video, or am I being an active participant as well as being an active speaker? Because by being an active participant, looking down the camera and addressing those people as if they are one-on-one, and if you're taking a quick stop, and you want to get everyone engaged, and you want to and it's about energy as well. Like, I know it's like a real like woo-woo thing, but it's about having that energy and making sure that it translates. So if you are nervous and you haven't spoken on camera before, I would definitely say, like, if you're usually sitting yourself at around a 6 or 7 in terms of energy most days, turn it up to like an 11. and you'll be surprised because it won't actually. You won't
Yeah.
come across as like a madman, a madwoman. It's like,
It feels a bit weird, doesn't it? And we can
Yeah.
be a little bit British about the whole thing.
For sure,
but
for sure.
we've kind of got to get over that a little bit.
But I
Gin
would say ask
helps.
questions. Yeah, do you say gin helps? Yeah, lots of it. That's how I start my mornings. But look, I would say like give yourself breaks within it, ask questions back, and get comments, and you like leverage comments if you can, and get people to do it. So let me just see.
When we've done live Q&As before, so we will often do a couple of things where we'll, if we've got an audience to ask beforehand, we'll ask them beforehand if they've got any questions to send them in. And they say, you can of course do it live, but send us your questions if you've got questions, and we'll have questions preloaded. So if we're using something like this, like StreamYard, we'll have questions preloaded, which tends to fuel it a little bit, doesn't it? You know, if people maybe feel that they can ask a question if you're already kind of fielding questions anyway, if that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
so make it easy. And you know, if you use something like Zoom, if you are just like being, you know, if you're going to do like an MVP of this, then use Zoom, and you can highlight people, call people out. So say, you know, if you see someone's like maybe like having a bit of a doze, give them a shout. Just say, Ian,
like you would in a class. You can't throw bunches of keys at kids anymore,
can you? And I think, look, that's a real, like, that's actually one of the best ways to do it. Like, think, how do you get your students' attention during a class? And I think that's, even like through online, like, I think that's, I think that's one of the ways to do it. So use humor, use energy, break it up. Don't just talk for 30 minutes unless you're telling like the winning formula on how to win the lottery, national lottery, and everyone's like taking the notes. You know, make it engaging, and take regular breaks, ask questions, and with the questions and getting people to interact. So with something like Zoom, it's very good because they use you have the raise the hand signals. So you'll say everyone. So like I know, and this is very Tony Robbins-y, and there is a reason why like he's as big as he is. His head's big as well, but like, but he's got, you know, he has this huge energy on stage, and he's getting people to participate. He's saying like, put your hands up if you are like, you know, an XYZ type of person, or if you're going to run over this. It's those things. It's that little bit of showmanship you need to bring into it. Now, I'm not saying like go have like a fire pit at every PTA meeting, or that gin. That might be interesting, but I do think bringing some elements of that energy is really important.
It's massively important, isn't it? I think, and you get more comfortable the more you do it. I think, you know, there's no question you get more comfortable the more you do it. Let me see if there's anything else I wanted to make sure I asked you. We've talked about platforms and stuff. I know that lots of schools have access to YouTube. You can do live on YouTube, so that's good. Saying we use a bit of kit. That's. Do you want to tell us a bit about Uscreen?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, Uscreen is some brand evangelists for these guys, and I found them back in January. I was actually one of my many hats that I wear. So I work with influencers that want to create online courses. This one in particular, she's a yoga specialist, and she wanted to get a new like a new app, for her iPhone and Android. So I went and looked over the market, and I found these guys, Uscreen. Got her signed up to it. It's a really great platform. You can do live streaming. You can host video content on there. But its sole purpose is for amazing or outstanding delivery of video content. And you can monetize it if you want. You can run it for free if you want. But you can actually go live within that. You can have live chat. It's all rolled into one. And cool. It's, again, very easy to use. And I'll make sure there's a link.
We'll make sure we share that. Yeah, absolutely.
Sign up to.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks, Paddy. That's amazing.
No worries.
Cool. I think unless there's any more questions, Sue says thanks.
Oh, you're welcome. And thank you for being an active participant as well.
Yes. Well, we need it, don't we? You know, that's amazing. I think we're going to wrap it up, sir. And again, I'm so grateful that you've made the time to get up. at stupid o'clock. What is it?
What's coming? So
it's 6:30. Yeah, well, this is it. This is it. There's nothing else needs to be said on that. I am so grateful to you, mate. I'm so grateful. And again, we'll kind of write some stuff up here because I know some pods have had some tech issues kind of getting on there.
I'd be happy to do it again, mate.
Honestly, yeah, that'd be awesome.
If you want to replay, put a hand up, one in the chat, in the comments. There's engagement.
Cool.
And I'd be happy to do it again. Not a problem.
Yeah, thank you so much, mate. I know that what the system will allow us to send out. It will go out this evening with links to replays. So we'll certainly be able to give access to that. But if we get any feedback from anybody that we want to go into more depth on stuff, we'll do it again. That'd be cool. That's awesome. Good to do it again. But again, I'm so grateful. And thanks, folks, for joining us. We will make this available if you've had problems. I know you can get a VIP ticket. We'll give you access to every session for up to 12 months. So do make the most of that. But if you've had any issues with watching this session, don't worry about us making it available to you. We'll obviously just sort that out, of course. But yeah, cool. Thank you, mate. Thanks everybody for coming. And we'll see you in the next session. Take care.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.